Attention passionate Washington Commanders fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Washington Commanders' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Washington Commanders fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your friends and Washington Commanders fans. Let's get to the news now, folks. Let's dive into some of the most intriguing and potentially game-changing news surrounding the Washington Commanders as we head into the offseason. It's no secret that the NFC East is one of the most fiercely contested divisions in the NFL, and the landscape is constantly shifting. But what's been bubbling under the surface lately could actually redefine how the Commanders approach their roster in the coming months. And it all centers around a name you've probably heard over the last few weeks, Cooper Kupp, the star wide receiver from the Los Angeles Rams. Yes, the very same Cooper Kupp, who's been one of the most productive and reliable receivers in the league over the past few seasons, is now reportedly on the trading block, and the Washington Commanders are emerging as one of the leading contenders to land him. But let's back up a bit and give some context for those who might not be fully caught up on the latest NFL buzz. Cooper Kupp, at nearly 32 years old, with a cap hit of around $29.78 million next season, has been placed on the trade block by the Rams. Now, that might sound shocking at first. After all, Kupp has been one of the most consistent and high-yield receivers in recent years, especially after his historic 2021 season where he racked up an incredible 947 receiving yards, making him one of the greatest seasons ever by a wideout. That year, Kupp proved he's not just a good receiver, he's a game-changer, a guy who can take over a game with his route running, contested catches, and ability to find openings even in tight coverage. But the NFL is a business, and sometimes even the most talented players find themselves caught in the crossfire of a team's rebuild or cap constraints. The Rams, after their Super Bowl winning run, are now reportedly looking at a possible full rebuild. There's been a lot of speculation about whether they might part ways with Matthew Stafford, their veteran quarterback, as part of that process. If that happens, it's logical to think that other key pieces, like Kupp, might also be moved to help the franchise reset financially and strategically. And that's precisely why the rumor mill has been buzzing so intensely. Initially, many analysts and insiders believed the Cincinnati Bengals were the most likely to make a move for Kupp. After all, the Bengals have a dynamic offense led by Joe Burrow, and adding a receiver of Kupp's caliber could make their aerial attack even more explosive. But as the weeks have gone by, a new frontrunner has started to emerge, none other than the Washington Commanders. Yes, that's right. The team that's been steadily building a competitive roster under head coach Ron Rivera and general manager Martin Mayhew is now being linked to potentially landing one of the league's most prolific receivers. And it's not just idle speculation. According to NFL insider Jeremy Fowler, who's well-connected and always in the know, the Commanders are now considered a serious contender to acquire Kupp. Fowler mentioned that several executives he's been in contact with believe Kupp will have a strong market this offseason because of his quarterback-friendly skill set. He's a guy who can make contested catches look routine, a multidimensional weapon that can line up in the slot or outside, and someone who can immediately boost the passing game. That's exactly what Washington needs, an injection of star power and a proven producer to complement their existing weapons. So, what does this mean for Washington? Well, if they get Kupp, it could be a massive upgrade over their current slot options, like Olamide Zekos and Luke McCaffrey. While those guys are decent, they're not the same level of threat as Kupp, especially given his route running, hands, and ability to create separation. Pairing Kupp with Terry McLaurin, who's already established himself as one of the league's premier deep threats and reliable targets, would create a formidable duo. Think about the possibilities. An offense that can stretch the field with McLaurin and then work underneath or in contested situations with Kupp, who's one of the best route runners in the game. Of course, there are questions about Kupp's age and durability. At nearly 32, some teams might be wary of investing heavily in a player who's had some injury issues in the past. But Kupp's last season, despite some slowdown, still showed that he can be a top-tier player if used correctly. The question for Washington is whether they believe he can still produce at a high level and if they're willing to make the investment to bring him in. The front office has shown a willingness to be aggressive before, especially when it comes to building around young quarterback Jayden Daniels. If they see Kupp as a piece that can push the offense over the top, it's easy to imagine them making a serious push for him. Now, let's talk about the broader implications. If Washington does manage to land Kupp, it's not just about adding a star receiver. It's about signaling to the division and the league that the Commanders are serious contenders. It could shift the balance of power in the NFC East, especially if they pair him with McLaurin and other key offensive pieces. The NFC East has always been known for its tough defenses and gritty play, but having a reliable, elite receiver like Kupp could give Washington an edge that few teams in the league can match. And remember, the Commanders aren't just looking at Kupp as a one-season fix. If they're smart, they'll see this as a long-term investment, adding a player with proven championship pedigree, who can help elevate the entire offense and mentor the younger receivers on the team. It's about building a winning culture and setting the stage for sustained success. With the right coaching staff, led by Ron Rivera, and a front office that's not afraid to make bold moves, this could be the start of something special. Of course, the trade process isn't simple. The Rams will want a strong package in return, possibly including draft picks or young players. Washington's front office will have to weigh the cost against the potential benefits. But if the rumors are true, and the Commanders are indeed front-runners, it shows that they're willing to go all in for a piece that can transform their offense. And that's exciting for fans who want to see their team not just compete but contend at the highest level. Now, looking at the bigger picture, this move would also fit perfectly with the team's recent strategy. Washington has been slowly building a balanced roster, adding young talent, solidifying their defense, and now, perhaps, upgrading their passing attack with a proven veteran. The addition of Kupp could help unlock Jayden Daniels' potential even more, giving him a reliable target who can make plays in tight spots and extend drives. It's the kind of move that could turn a good team into a playoff contender and maybe, just maybe, bring that elusive Super Bowl trophy back to D.C. But, let's not forget, this is all speculation for now. Nothing is set in stone until the official trade happens, and even then, a lot can change. Teams often keep their cards close to their chest during negotiations, and the Rams might have other suitors or different plans. Still, the fact that the Commanders are now considered a serious contender is enough to get fans excited and keep an eye on what's to come in the offseason. The NFL offseason is always full of surprises, and this potential Kupp trade is shaping up to be one of the most talked about stories of the year. So, as we await official news, it's worth considering what this could mean for the team's future. Imagine a Washington offense with Jayden Daniels throwing to Kupp and McLaurin, how defenses would have to prepare for that. It's a nightmare scenario for opponents. The versatility, experience, and playmaking ability that Kupp brings could be exactly what Washington needs to take that next step and truly compete with the best in the league. And, for fans, it's a thrilling prospect, a chance to see their team make a bold move that could alter the course of their championship aspirations. Pause here, just for a second. If you want, the YouTube algorithm, to keep recommending the latest Washington Commanders news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick, and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now, let's continue with the big reveal. Thinking about the potential impact, it's also crucial to consider the other pieces around the team. The Commanders have been developing a solid defense, and with the right offensive firepower, they could become a complete team capable of making deep playoff runs. The addition of Kupp isn't just about adding another receiver, it's about creating a dynamic offense that can adapt and thrive in various situations. It could also free up Terry McLaurin to take on a more complementary role, which would make the passing game even more unpredictable and dangerous. And let's not forget the importance of leadership and experience. Kupp, having played in multiple playoff games and even Super Bowls, knows what it takes to win at the highest level. His presence could be invaluable for the younger players on the roster, helping them develop and pushing everyone to perform at their best. It's about building a culture of winning, and adding a player like Kupp sends a message that Washington is committed to competing at the top. Now, what about the fans? Well, this kind of move would definitely energize the fan base. Imagine the anticipation of seeing Kupp in the burgundy and gold, making those incredible catches, and being a key piece in a team that's hungry for success. It's the kind of move that not only boosts the team's chances but also ignites the passion of the supporters, creating a buzz around the DMV that could last all off-season. Of course, there are still questions to answer. Will the Rams accept a package that Washington is willing to offer? How will the salary cap situation be managed? Will Kupp be interested in a fresh start with a team that's on the rise? These are the questions that only time will answer, but the speculation alone is enough to keep fans on the edge of their seats. The NFL offseason is full of surprises, and this potential trade could be one of the biggest stories of the year. In the end, what we're seeing is a team that's not content with just being good, they want to be great. And acquiring a player of Kupp's caliber could be that missing piece that elevates the Commanders from a decent team to legitimate Super Bowl contenders. The next few weeks will be critical as negotiations unfold, but one thing's for sure, the Washington Commanders are making moves, and the NFL world is watching closely. So stay tuned, because this story is far from over, and it might just redefine the future of the franchise. And now, Washington Commanders fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this potential move? Do you think Kupp is the perfect fit to help take the team to the next level? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Commanders. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Washington Commanders news. Keep the passion alive, and let's see what the future holds for this exciting franchise.